You don't have a discipline problem. You just can't focus. And it's not because you're lazy, it's because your mind has been trained to chase everything except what actually matters. And if you're being honest, you felt this way before. You sit down to do something important, and 5 minutes later, you're distracted. Your phone, your thoughts, something random pulls you away. You try to lock in, but your mind just won't stay there. You try to focus, but something always breaks it. And after a while, you start to lose trust in yourself and you start thinking, what's wrong with me? But this isn't random. And it's not just about discipline, it's about what's been shaping your mind every single day. Because whether you realize it or not, you've been training your mind every scroll, every distraction, every moment of noise. You've been teaching your brain to jump instead of to stay, to chase instead of to remain focused. And now, when it's actually time to sit down and do something that matters, your mind doesn't cooperate. It wanders, it resists, it looks for escape. And that's where a lot of men get stuck. They think they need more motivation, they think they need more discipline, more pressure, but that's not the root issue. The issue is your mind is overloaded, too much input, too much noise, too much distraction, and not enough truth. Because when your mind is constantly filled with everything else, there's no room for clarity. And here's where it goes deeper. God is not the author of confusion. So if your mind constantly feels scattered, pulled in different directions, that's a sign that something is off, not with your potential, but with what you're allowing in. Because whatever you feed your mind will shape how you think, and how you think will shape how you live. So if your mind is full of noise, your life will feel chaotic. If your mind is scattered, your actions would be inconsistent. But if your mind is grounded in truth, everything begins to stabilize. And that's what most men are missing. Not effort. We got plenty of that. Not desire. You have the desire, but you're missing clarity. So how do you fix it? Not by trying harder, but by training your mind differently. First, you have to reduce the noise. And this is where most people won't be honest, because it's easy to say you won't focus, but it's harder to let go of what's distracting you. Your phone, constant strolling, always needing something playing in the background. You don't give your mind any space. So of course it can't focus. It's overstimulated. So here's a simple step you can take today. Give yourself 30 minutes with no input, no phone, no music, no distractions. Just sit and be still. At first, it's going to feel uncomfortable. Your mind is going to start racing. You're going to want to reach for something. That's the problem. You've trained yourself to avoid stillness, but stillness is where clarity begins. And more importantly, that's where you begin to hear God clearly, because God doesn't compete with noise. He speaks in stillness. Second, you need to rebuild your focus in small moments. Most people try to go from distracted to locked in for hours. That doesn't work. You build focus the same way you build strength, gradually. So here's what you do. Pick one task, set a timer for 10 minutes, and give that one thing your full attention. No switching, no checking, no drifting, just 10 minutes. And when your mind tries to leave, bring it back. That's how you train it. Not by being perfect, but by being consistent. Over time, that 10 minutes becomes 20, then 30, then more. But it starts small. Third, you have to change what you're feeding your mind. Because if all you consume is noise, you'll never feel clear. And this is where God has to become central, not occasional, not when you feel like it, but daily. Time in the word, prayer, stillness, because truth resets your mind. It brings structure as well. It brings clarity. It brings direction. Without it, you're just reacting to everything around you. With it, you begin to move with purpose. And that's the shift. You stop reacting and you start leading your life. So let's bring all this together. If you feel distracted, if you feel unfocused, if you feel mentally all over the place, this is where you start. Reduce the noise. Create space for stillness. Train your focus in small moments and anchor your mind in truth daily. That's it. Nothing complicated, but it requires intention because you won't drift into clarity. You have to build it. And if you do this consistently, you'll start to notice something. Your thoughts slow down, your focus improves, your decisions become clearer. And most importantly, you stop feeling all over the place. You become steady, grounded, and in control again. And if you're serious about building this kind of life, I go deep into this in the King's Forge newsletter. We're talking discipline, structure, spiritual alignment. It's all in the descriptions below, all right? Now, listen, most men stay distracted, not because they're incapable, but because they never train their mind. But you don't have to stay there. You can build focus, you can build clarity, you can build discipline, but it starts with what you do today. So if this helped you, I want you to subscribe to this channel. This is the King's Forge. We're building strong, focused, and grounded men here. So now the question is, are you going to keep drifting or are you going to take control of your mind? Start today, not tomorrow, today.